Hi everyone, welcome back to the next Diecast. In today's video, I'll be showing you what a 1/18 scale diecast model car looks like when you take it completely apart. So this, or I guess these I should say, are a 1/18 scale 2002 Ford Thunderbirds made by Maisto. I bought the one back here back in 2021. It came brand new in the box, and I got it for around $45 in total, and it was made in 2001. This disassembled, I guess, version here, I got just over a month before I recorded this video for around $15 in total, including shipping and everything, because I wanted to get another kind of parts car for my 1/18 scale car collection, and because I wanted to get another hard top to paint in a different color. As a lot of you guys know, I have several 1/18 scale Ford Thunderbird models. I have this one, I have the orange and white version by Beanstalk Group, and I have the 1/18 scale concept car version made by Maisto. But I wanted to get like just an extra hard top to paint maybe a color and have it maybe fit on all the different models. So that was I guess the primary reason for getting this car. And I also figured I would get another parts car for the collection. A lot of parts that you see here could be interchangeable with other Maisto models. Of course, not so much for like the windshield and, you know, the engine piece and stuff, but certain things like all these screws and these springs can definitely be used in other 1/18 scale models, as well as these wheels, because I guess the assembly process is pretty similar for all these different models. And even the seats too, they have kind of similar mounting points that you would see for other 1/18 scale models. So this is pretty much how a 1/18 scale model looks when you completely take it apart. So you pretty much have the basic kind of die-cast body here. And of course, this does have the one tail light that is missing. But you see like the main part in there, just the red lens is actually missing. And that came like that. But you have just kind of the die-cast body, you know, with the opening doors and everything. And you could go further and like take apart the hood and trunk, but that's kind of a process because you kind of have to bend out these tabs and I guess pull the pieces out. But here's how the basic kind of die-cast body mold looks before all the parts are added to it. And of course, you know, depending on which car you're looking at, the mold will be a different shape and everything. You may not have an opening hood or trunk or something, but this is kind of how the basic mold looks. And then from there, you have kind of the main sort of frame or tray, I guess. And then there's like the Maisto name on the bottom and everything. And then from there, you would mount like the exhaust tips and like the wheels and everything. This is the interior pan with that rear shelf. The seats go there. And the pedals I could probably pull out, but I just left them in place. And then you have the spot where the center tunnel goes and the center console and everything. Now the wheels are going to be pretty similar in terms of front wheels for Maisto models when you disassemble them. The steering wheel kind of goes through a tab like this, and then from there you can steer the wheels. But they're attached on a single piece like this. Of course, the wheels do, you know, spin freely. But Maisto steering systems are pretty similar in that sense. And then for the actual steering wheel itself, you have kind of a longer component like this, which will then go through this hole. And then by turning the steering wheel, of course, you turn the wheels. And here's the dashboard too. Dashboards are gonna be pretty similar too. They just kind of clip into place, sort of between the hood and where the windshield kind of meets the body as well. Then you got your rear trunk pan, some undercarriage components. This kind of rear piece does go right here. That's where the third brake light is for this particular model. And of course, for a lot of Maisto models, you're not going to have the roof, you know, coming off as a separate piece. This is a special case because Thunderbirds did have the removable hard tops, at least for the 02 to 05 versions, which is what this one is based off of. And of course, I could have, I guess, removed the wheels from these axle points and remove the tires from the wheels, but I didn't quite get to that point. I did want to kind of practice with like wheel swapping and removing wheels from cars because I am kind of squeamish with that. Like I don't want to use a good model to do a wheel swap with, and I end up like ruining the wheel because I pulled it off too hard or I broke something. So this is also good for that. If you want to get like a junker model or just, you know, a parts lot, which is pretty much what I turned this into at this point, then I think it is good for kind of experimental stuff like that. And then if you want to try out some different, you know, paint colors and all that, you could do that too. That's another reason why you would I guess, want to take apart the model completely, because from this point I could technically spray paint this without a mooring. Well, of course I'd have to take off the lights and stuff. So the only things that are pretty much attached to the body at this point are the headlights, or I'm sorry, are the taillights, the headlights, and the front grille, which can all come off with, you know, some careful practice, because they are just kind of held on with, you know, single pegs and everything. So that may, you know, prove to be some trouble getting them back on. But in terms of taking them off, it should be pretty simple. You kind of push them out from like the back like that. And then you have different interior components here as well. This is the rear boot. And then you have the 2 seats here. Now, newer Maisto seats aren't going to have this center kind of mounting point on here. They're going to have kind of 2 clips in the back or in the front. Older seats are kind of easier to pull out than on newer seats, at least as far as Maistos go. And then, of course, you have the door panels as well. Door panels are going to kind of be similar on all Maisto models. They're going to be kind of mounted on with either 2, or in this case 3, mounting points to the actual doors themselves. There's 2 pegs there, and then of course these would fit inside of those pegs. Then you have the engine here as well. A lot of older Maisto models had kind of multi-piece engines, as you'll see here, with all the different wires and stuff and all these different kind of pulleys. Which is actually pretty cool to see when you take it out of the car. You can't really see all this detail, at least as far as this Thunderbird goes, when the engine is assembled and inside of the car itself. You don't really see it until you pop off this sort of main kind of tray, or this main, I guess, engine block component or main engine piece. I don't really know what to call it in terms of the model. But a lot of the engine detail is pretty much hidden. You can see like bits and pieces of wires when you have this in place, as you'll see here with the completed model. See, there's a little bit of that red down there. And then you have, you know, some decent detailing overall. But then when you really look at it, it's actually pretty well detailed. You have this component here, all the different wires, kind of these chrome pieces as well. So that was kind of cool to see that. So for older Maisto models, you could get like a parts car like this. If you want to put the engine like on, like next to the completed model, like on your shelf, like, hey, here's the engine, how it looks, or something like that. This is something cool. And of course, you have lots of springs and screws, which would be interchangeable with any other model, or just useful to have in general if you need something that needs like a screw. And then of course, you have the different exhaust components, which are a pain to kind of get off the car. I've noticed this for other models too. They're all kind of held on with these really tight clips, and you may break them in the process, like I did with this one here, unfortunately. So just keep that in mind when you're kind of working with these models, that some parts are pretty fragile, in spite of the models in general being kind of, you know, durable and meant for being played with and stuff like that. And then of course you have the windshield frame and the windshield as well. I don't think I missed too much more aside from that. But yeah, this is just kind of like a random video, I guess, of how a 1/18 scale model looks when you take it completely apart. And of course, this process will kind of vary, you know, per model brand. But in terms of like Barago and Maisto models in general, this is kind of how they're constructed. You have the main die-cast body, 2 kind of larger pieces that hold the whole thing together. And then you have, you know, kind of your basic wheels and other components like that. And pretty much everything is going to be either clipped on or screwed on. Nothing is glued on this model, which is kind of cool to see. I think there might be some glue holding on the different lights, but they're still kind of easy to just pull off if you wanted to maybe, you know, fix them or put in some replacements or something like that. But yeah, that was just kind of a quick video on, I guess, what a 1/18 scale model looks like when it's completely torn apart like this, I guess. So I do plan on painting this hard type a different color, maybe like white or something. And I do want to, you know, have an extra set of just wheels and stuff around. I'm probably not going to use every last bit from this parts T-Bird here, but a lot of the things I think I will use. So, and it is kind of cool to have, you know, the complete model alongside the model for parts. So I'm kind of a random video, I guess, but I hope it was still, you know, entertaining at least nonetheless. And feel free to comment down below with your thoughts on the video here. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.